And actually, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Because I know me.
You know, so that's our life mission. That's the McShin's mission.
You don't have to understand my boundaries to respect them.
Well, no, I'm the president and co-founder of McShin, a person in long-term recovery from substance use disorders.
How do you go about fixing the damage in the trust between the family after you get out?
Okay, I gotta work on that.
Celebrating my 6 months. Didn't have a cake.
Yeah.
Gosh, you showed up.
Hey guys, welcome to the Get in the Herd podcast. We're your hosts, Layla and
Salma.
Oh guys, I had a kind of a rough week. What's so funny to you?
You want to talk about it?
Yeah, I do actually. So, as I talk about often, my anxiety's been very bad recently. It's been crippling, some may even say. And so I just got comfortable in the RCO that I've been living in
With me.
With Salma. And I got a phone call this week that I was being moved to the Step Up RCO, which is honestly an honor that they think that I'm someone that should be there. But I'm having a really hard time processing my emotions these days, and I just couldn't get it together. I lost my mind. I was a hyperventilating, crying mess, freaking my parents out, ultimately ended up turning my phone off for my parents to then get in contact with other people to get in contact with me. It was a whole mess, and I definitely reacted instead of responding, worried some people, rightly so. I'm feeling a lot better. Everyone in the house is really welcoming, and I think I'm just having a really hard time adjusting to change at the moment, especially with moving around houses so much and being so far away from everything that I know. But I really am feeling so much better, but I was not doing well, was I, Salma?
No, you actually scared me that day.
I'm sorry.
Cause I was trying to call you, and then we share locations, and I could not track her because her phone was off. So as I was driving, I had to take somebody to one of the houses, and I see her car, and I just literally parked real quick, ran up the stairs. I was like, "Where's Layla?" Because I was freaking out, pacing back and forth. You scared me.
Yeah, I scared my mom too. My poor mother is so worried that I'm going to hurt myself, that I did not handle that properly. But I heard something the other day. Someone said that this is our parents experiencing life for the first time too. And that goes for anyone. It's kind of interesting to think about. There's no right way to handle anything. There's no guide on how to do life. And although I was disappointed in myself for the way that I let my emotions get the best of me and the way that I handled things, I gotta give myself a break sometimes. I gotta give everyone a break. My parents a break. A lot of people are just projecting out here too. But it really is everyone's first time experiencing life. Isn't that interesting to think about?
Yes, and you're kind of still new in this recovery, so your emotions are still...
Yeah, I'm very new.
Yes, and you have really bad anxiety, so...
I have really bad anxiety.
It's really bad.
That is actually really, it's a really it is cool to think about it like that.
Yeah.
My dad's a bit older. He's I think he's 76, 77. And so I feel like he's definitely more mature and kind of business oriented. So anytime I've had issues or something like that, I feel like, I can come to him or whatever, and I can, but I got to remember that it's his first time doing this too,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I go to my parents for everything, or I put a lot of stuff on them to take care of.
Yeah, I do.
Because I'm like, oh, they've experienced this already. But this is their first time having their child, go through a traumatic suicide attempt, abuse alcohol and drugs like there was no tomorrow. They were really scared to lose me. And although I'm doing great now, I mean, every day is different and there's no right or wrong way to handle things. But phew, I am so glad I'm feeling better. But for real, my anxiety has been so bad. I've just been like laying in my bedroom, like unable to make phone calls or even go to the grocery store. And another silly thing is like being in this new house that I'm in, where, like I said, everyone's so nice. I find myself nervous to even use the kitchen, which is silly. I was like, oh, I'm not going to go to the grocery store because I'm like too afraid to cook in there. Why? Like, what's going to happen? Like, sometimes I have
It's too late to go to the bathroom right now.
Yes.
No, like all of these things are happening, but then I'm like sitting through it, my thoughts, and like processing it, and I'm like, there is no negative outcome. I need to eat. Like, but I mean, that's anxiety for you.
I still feel the same way at the house that I'm at. That's why I never make anything.
Oh,
Or I
like
just-
that? Like you're uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Really?
like, I am. And it's because I don't really know anyone there, except for like, my roommate. And that's pretty much it. Everyone's gone, but like the new girls, they're there, but I've like never talked to them. Or I'm just nervous in general. I'm just not, yes, I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable in my room, but I'm not comfortable outside of it unless I'm with somebody that I know and that I talk to.
Yeah. That's what, I mean, I felt so safe and comfortable at the other house I was at.
Yeah.
With a roommate I knew, and then the other room, you and another friend of mine. It was my very safe place. And then going into a new house sharing a bedroom with two other girls that I didn't know, having just like a little corner to myself, was really overwhelming.
But you have some great girls in your room.
I do. No, everyone has been very kind and welcoming. But when, like in the moment when I'm having anxiety like that, it's all irrational. Like I can't even tell myself that anything is going to be okay sometimes. Sometimes it's just like the whole world is crumbling down and I just freeze like a deer in headlights. And I know that it's really good for me to put myself in uncomfortable positions to grow. And that's always when I grow the most. But it's really hard, especially when it's getting dark at 5 o'clock. How depressing.
I know.
I really don't like that.
And it's just like, I get so tired so fast now.
Yeah. And I don't even know what to do here. Especially, I mean, if it were a couple months ago, I would know what to do. I would go right to the bar. Like immediately, and then it wouldn't matter if it was bright or dark. Because I'd be messed up. But I can't do that anymore.
I feel like time goes by faster.
I don't want to.
When you're high.
You feel like it goes by faster when you're high?
Yeah. I don't know why.
For me, like this last year has gone by so quick. I feel like because I sleep every night now.
Yeah.
Like when you stay up for days at a time, it just, you're
Yeah,
still on the
I
same
think
day
so.
for a few days,
Yeah.
Everyone else is on the next day, I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely. I'm still.
You hear the birds chirping in the morning, you're like, not again.
Yeah, I have not heard that in a while. Until now.
The sun comes up, you're like, no, I did it again.
God, I don't miss being hungover. I really used to be hungover every single day. It's crazy. Like I woke up yesterday, I didn't feel very good, and I was like being such a baby about it.
I did not want to get out of
But
bed.
it could never compare to the hangover, the permanent hangover that I lived with. Why did I do that to myself? I'd never ever want to experience a hangover again. That is enough to keep me sober. Ugh.
I can't.
So what's going on with you? Oh, we have Thanksgiving tomorrow. We're going to my parents' house in South Carolina.
And we have to get up at 6 in the morning.
You get to sleep in the car. I'm going to be driving.
That's true. Okay, then I have no problem with it.
Yeah. Lucky you.
What?
It'll be a quick drive.
How far is it?
With stopping a couple times, probably like 6 hours.
We're probably gonna stop a couple times.
Yeah. But it'll be nice. At my parents' house.
I'm nervous. I have so much anxiety about it.
At my parents' house?
Yeah.
It's going to be a bunch of people in recovery, and then my parents and my sister and her family.
Exactly.
It's not going to be a ton of people. It's a very welcoming environment. And my dog is there, and my parents' 3 pugs.
It still gives me anxiety. But
That's
that's because
okay.
I'm not good with meeting new people.
Well, you've already met my parents.
I met her parents, yes, and they're great. But like,
I feel like you're great at meeting new people.
not really. I say hi, yes, but
You're hands down one of the most social people I know. I think this is very interesting to hear.
I am. No, I mean, I am. But that's me being nice and just saying hi to everybody. But like, when it comes to conversating, no, I'm not really good at it.
Do you have anxiety doing like very basic things like making phone calls for appointments or like going into the grocery
Yes.
store?
Yes.
How do you deal with
Especially
that?
by myself.
Yeah, you're like my safety blanket. Anytime I have to do anything,
I know. That's why I want you to go everywhere with me.
like it feels like the end of the world if I have to go into a grocery store alone now. But if you're with me, I'm fine.
Right.
You guys have to do a podcast, you know.
Yep. God, I couldn't do this without you. No, but I feel like a completely different person. I mean, this has been a really long and absolutely horrible year for me. I mean, it's getting better now, but being like drunk all the time or like having like alcohol in my system all the time made it so easy for me to do anything, like to talk to anyone, like, you know, that liquid confidence. I mean, I was doing everything with alcohol in my system, and having none of that at all, it's just so, the transition's so wild. Like, I don't feel like a different person. I feel like I myself was like underneath this shell of misery, and I'm just like coming back out. But it's crazy. I mean, like I used alcohol to cope with my anxiety for the most part. And even though it's like so much better not, you know, abusing myself in those ways, I can't lie and say I don't think about like how much easier it could be if I could just have a drink. Oh, wouldn't it be so much more comfortable for me if I could like go on a first date and have a drink? If I could do a lot of, see, that's where the problem comes in, because I was doing everything with a drink, even breakfast.
I can say this year, I have like trial and error. Like I've been trying to get clean. I've been in and out RCOs, and then messing up, and then getting clean, and then messing up. And
Yeah,
then
I remember seeing you over in True Recovery.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was over there. I was over there for like a month, 2 months.
I was with John when he came to speak. You remember that?
Yeah, you were there.
Mm.
That was really good, especially when he was calling me out. I was like,
He did.
He did.
Yeah.
But
Can you bring the mic a little closer to you?
yeah.
You can pull it if you want.
There you go. But yeah, and then I went back out and I came back, and this time I just actually stayed. And I'm seeing myself grow, and others are not, but I really don't care what other people think at this point. It's my process, my recovery, and how I want to take it and how I want to do these things. And it's not anyone else's, so people are going to judge, and that's just how they are. And you just got to like not listen to what people have to say, because at the end of the day, it's your life, your choices, and what you want to do.
I think some people can be a little too hard, and like I feel like there is a huge difference between like holding someone accountable and making them feel like nothing they're doing is good enough.
Yeah.
I've experienced a little bit of that, even on myself too. I've been so hard on myself. like I've just, I can't stop thinking about everything that I left behind, like just that's consuming my mind recently, and like feeling like I have nothing when in reality I have so much more than I did before. It just, there's a lot of getting used to surrendering and giving up everything that you know and putting recovery first. It is, I mean, it's awesome in so many ways, but they don't tell you how painful it can be sometimes.
No.
And I would just love to stop crying. That would be so cool. I woke up, immediately started crying. Not even like, I wasn't even upset. I was just like, wow. Like, what were my thoughts? I was like, wow, I'm so hard on myself, and it's been such a rough year, but like I was just like excited to wake up not hungover, and I just started crying. But then my mind bounces back to, but you live in an RCO, and you left all of your friends behind without any real explanation, and you can't have your dog right now. Those are my dark thoughts, but I mean,
I feel like you stress yourself out too much.
I do. Like it's my job.
But
I feel like I inherited that from my mother.
you just gotta take things slowly. Everything will come back eventually. But
Yeah.
right now, you have to focus on you.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
You're doing pretty great.
Am I?
Yes, you're doing a lot better than what I was doing when I was still fresh. I mean, I'm still fresh, but like in the beginning.
Well, thank you for saying that.
You're welcome.
What else is going on with you?
I'm at this point in my life where I just kind of want to completely just ghost everyone out. I don't know what it is, but I was just in bed one day and I was just like about to go to bed, and I was thinking like I should just stop talking to everybody. Like, you know, just cut everyone off, keep at least 2-3 people, of course you, and just focus on me.
Well, it's quality, not quantity. So having like a handful of really good friends is always better than having like a bunch of useless
Yes.
friendships and relationships.
And most of these people here are useless friendships. That's so mean to say, but it's so true.
Well, you're not saying anything negative about them. It's just
I'm not,
your
but
dynamic.
It's just I can do so much better, and I can do so much more for myself if I just stop having these distractions. And that's exactly what I need right now.
That's what I've been telling you.
I know, she has been telling me this, and I finally...
I think you're getting it.
Distractions as in like
Just like...
Romantic distractions.
No.
Be straight up, girl.
No, okay, yes, some of that, but like not just that. Like just distracting myself, like not focusing on me, I wouldn't call my sponsor every day, but I'm doing that now. I wouldn't sit at home and like actually do what I need to do for myself.
what are those things that's getting in the way of that, like you calling your sponsor, like what type of,
Because I'm too busy on the phone with like 10 other people,
except for your sponsor?
or I'm going out, or I'm like I'm going to meetings talking to people that I probably would never talk to just because I want to be a social butterfly. And I just need to stop doing that. Like, I just want to go to a meeting and get out, you know? I don't want to talk to anyone unless, like...
You're saying that this is what you want?
This is
to
what
do
I
now?
want. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I want to do. So that I can just... It's peace. Just have some peace. And not care what's going around me. If it has nothing to do with me, I do not care. It's
Yeah.
how I feel.
Early recovery can kind of be, especially like in a treatment type setting, it can be like high school sometimes.
It literally feels
lot
like
of-
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of gossip and drama and
Yeah, I
It's
feel like
so
you're
bad.
always the center of that.
I am not. Not
No, I feel like you're
anymore.
the topic. You don't involve yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I am.
People do like to
was.
talk about you, though.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying. I don't like it. Especially, like, sometimes people just like to talk about me. And it's the people that don't even know me or probably have never spoken to me ever.
And they just kind of pick on you.
They just go based on what they see, and half the time what you see is not what it is. I mean, I don't care.
People are just bored.
Yeah, you're bored and you want to talk about something, but don't talk about me, please.
You know what I want?
What do you want?
A girlfriend.
She really... Every time.
I do, but I don't. I think I'm like really...
You're bored.
Well, I'm bored, and I'm like... I'm codependent. I'm pretty codependent, and I feel like I always have someone, and I'm just comfortable being in relationships. There's no one that I even like. I think it's better for me being in Richmond because I don't really know anyone when I'm one horrible date. But there's like one person that I'm interested in that doesn't live anywhere around here, which is probably good, I guess. But I mean, I feel like a lot of people are this way. Like I'm just thinking about it all the time. And I'm like dating apps, I'm always like, I keep like matching with people and then like planning a date and then completely that I'm not attracted to. Yeah.
Can you tell us about your horrible date?
Yeah, tell us about it.
Yeah. It was a couple weeks ago, and I matched with a girl on Tinder. Chris is going to be so excited that I'm talking about this. And we went to get food. I actually picked her up, and the date started off by me having to parallel park.
She can't parallel park.
And not only... I can, okay? Jesus. You're going to roast my parallel parking every episode.
Yeah.
Not only is it just, like, awkward to, like, struggle in parking, but, like, she was giving me a hard time about it. That's how the date started. Like, just cut your wheel at this point. Like, obviously, if I knew to do that, I would have done it. Anyway, then we get to the restaurant. We're talking. It was one of those situations where she didn't ask me anything about myself. I was kind of struggling to keep the conversation going. And when she did talk, she was talking about her ex-girlfriend. At one point, she goes, "Are you uncomfortable?" And I was like, "No, why?" I want to be like, I'm bored as shit. But, like, she was like, "It's because of how you're sitting." And I looked at myself. I was literally like this. Like, in a restaurant. And I was like, "Oh, sorry. No, I'm not uncomfortable." Why I thought it'd be a good idea to continue the date after dinner. I mean, she did pay. That was super nice. Thanks for that. I doubt she's listening. I really hope not, God. But then we went to... She's like, "Oh, you want to go back to my apartment?" And, like, there's a pool table in the common area. I was like, "I don't know how to play pool." But, like, sure, I guess so. And she's, like, trying to help me play pool. It was fine, I guess. I was still just, like, uncomfortable because I don't know how to play pool. And then she's like, "I would invite you up to my apartment, but it's just such a wreck." And I was like, "That's cool. Like, this is fine, whatever." And then she just kept bringing it up, like, "I would invite you up, but it's, like, so messy up there." And then she goes, "You know what? Let's just go." And I was like, "Okay, sure." So I went up to her apartment, guys. Not only was it, like, one of the nicest apartments I've ever seen, but it was, like, immaculate. So I was like, what the... She was like, it's such a wreck.
That's weird.
Well, this is when I realized that... Well, okay. She was just a little... Not there's anything wrong with having OCD, but it got to the point where she lint rolled me.
Oh my God. You did not tell me this.
I didn't? Yeah, she was lint rolling her couch. I was sitting on it. She also, like, didn't turn any music on or anything. I was just, like, sitting in silence, and I'm like, what is going on? And she's, like, lint rolling her couch obsessively because of her... I guess there was cat hair on it. I didn't see any. And then she lint rolled my leg, and I was like, I don't even see anything. I was like, your apartment is, like, really...
do it.
I was like, it looks great in here. And she was like, I'm OCD. It's a disease. And I was like, okay, like, that's fine. I should have ran at this point, but I didn't. I stayed in silence, and I went, "Do you want to put the TV on or something?" She goes, "You want to?" I was like, "Sure." She puts some show on. Then she immediately turns to me and goes, "Do you want to play the alphabet game?" I'm, like, putting her on blast right now. And I go, "What is that?" And she goes, you just go through the alphabet and you say words that start with that letter. I'll go first. Apple. I went, like, butter? Like, and then she was like, cat. I was like, is this actually happening right now? Is this really happening? This is my first sober date. And this is how it's going. Not gonna lie, I was very attracted to her physically. She didn't drink, which was cool. I don't really feel like that would bother me if she did. Anyway, it was pretty bad, and then she stepped out at one point to call her ex-girlfriend because she was worried about her, because she said, I haven't heard from my ex-girlfriend in a couple of days, and I'm worried about her. Like, she walks home from work, like, what if something bad happened to her? I, like, really want to call her. I was like, go for it. Then she's like, oh my God, she didn't answer me, blah, blah, blah. And then, I mean, she was saying stuff like, she was like, are you Latina? And I was like, no. She's like, do people ask you that? And I was like, people have asked me before. And she's like, my ex-girlfriend was Latina. It was, so that was a bad date. Yes. And then I went home, and then she texted me about her ex-girlfriend, about how she still couldn't get in contact with her. And I kind of went off. And then she blocked me on everything. Anyway, yeah, so.
And the bar is set low.
That was terrible.
It was really bad, and
I can't believe
the
you
whole time
stayed.
it was happening, I was, like, convincing myself that it wasn't that bad. But, like, looking back, I'm like, that is crazy.
I give you props for staying, because I would have left.
I don't know what I was expecting to happen, especially once we got to, like, when she lint rolled my leg, I should have been like, get out of here. So I think I'm a little traumatized from that. So, yeah, of course, I would love to go on fun dates or, like, find a great connection with someone, but maybe that was a sign that I need to chill out for a little bit.
Yes.
Anyway, thanks for letting me share that.
Thanks for sharing.
That was just so funny to me. I can't stop laughing. I'm, like, visioning it in my head, and it makes it even funnier.
When I think back to it, like, it really was so weird.
That's really weird.
It was really, and then I got blocked on everything.
You should have blocked her.
Like, I let that happen, and I was also too nice about everything, too.
Because you're a really nice person.
Yeah, I am.
You do not know
You
how
hear
to say
that,
no.
ladies? Okay, all right. Enough about me.
I've never really been on a date. Well,
You have a child.
Okay, I lied then. I have. If you really want to count that. I don't count that.
Okay.
I don't count that. But
Oh. Well,
break
What?
time. Just kidding.
Let's see here.
I don't know how long we've been going for.
28 minutes.
Okay.
Let's shoot for a little longer.
Okay.
Can you talk a little bit about, if you want to, like, your suicide attempt? Like,
I can talk about it, actually. Let's go. All right. So, I've always struggled with depression and anxiety, which led me to only in really the past year have I had an issue with alcohol. And it was a coping mechanism. And while I felt that was helping my anxiety, it was really just feeding my depression, bringing me to an incredibly dark place. And I had a lot of shitty things happen in this past year. Like around a year ago, a very bad breakup. I had to also become more honest with myself and everyone around me about my sexuality. Like from straight to bi for like 1 second to full-blown lesbo. Yeah, coming to terms with a lot of things, and then I got to a point where I just really hated myself, and for some reason I wasn't able to deal with any of this stuff in a healthy way. I also didn't really want to. I just wanted to numb myself and stuff everything inside of me and surround myself with people that co-signed all of that, and I did not care about myself. I didn't care about anyone that cared about me, you know. I mean, I did, but like in reality, like the things that I was doing, the way I was treating my friends and my family, you would never think that I cared about them. And also, I mean, attempting to commit suicide is one of the most selfish things that you can do.
What happened that was it? Can you tell me like what happened that night or
Yeah.
that day, or did you?
Yeah, so it was coming for a while. It was something I was thinking about for a while. And the weekend before I did it, which I'll explain in a minute, I had a really bad panic attack and was just like self-loathing, like absolutely miserable. And I called someone like mid-panic attack, and I was like, I just was driving around thinking about crashing my car, like actually thinking about crashing my car into a pole. And I'm getting really scared because I've had these thoughts for a while, but now I'm like getting the courage to act on it. They ended up talking to me and like kind of calming me down, and I went to bed. And the rest of that week, I just feel like I was like manic, like completely, like I had no respect for myself. Like I don't think I really slept very much. I was really starting, I was very deep in my drinking problems at this point. I don't know. It was like I would go to work, drink at work, get off of work, continue drinking, and I don't know, I was doing shit like just like taking anyone home after, being really manipulative with people. I was just being a shitty person, and because I really hated myself. But the night that it happened,
Did you like at that time? Did you know that you were doing that, or were you like searching for something, or did you like feel like I'm a shitty person? This is what I'm gonna do, like, or is that like looking back? That's what you.
at this point, I feel like every day I had to convince myself not to do something stupid. So it was really like an internal fight with myself, which I don't know. Like the smallest things were starting to set me off. Like things that would never really upset me before. Sometimes it wasn't even anything, but I would just, it was always when I was like pretty drunk. Which was always. But I mean, one day I had a very normal day. I went to work. Don't even think I was like drinking all day or anything, which is interesting. And then I had a plan to go out to this bar that I used to always go to with my roommates. And I got into like a little bit of an argument with one of them. And like nothing that happened this night was like, why? Like this is just something that was going to happen, I feel, because of what was going down like deep inside of me. But I got into like a little argument with one of my friends, one of my roommates, and then this girl showed up that like blew me off on a date or something. And then she acted like she didn't know who I was, and I was just like feeling really bad about myself. And at this point I wasn't like, all right, I'm gonna just fucking kill myself. Sorry for the F-bomb. I was like, all right, I'm gonna call my friend, and I'm gonna go to their house, and I'm gonna vent to them instead of doing something stupid. And I actually wasn't like as drunk as I normally was. Like I had a couple drinks, but I like wasn't super messed up. Still probably shouldn't have driven, but I'm on my way to my friend's house. He's like, yeah, come over, like let's talk about it. So I'm driving to his house, and of course I'm like listening to really sad music, and I'm just like thinking about all the things that I was continuously fucking up this year. And then I started having very dark thoughts. Like, what if I did just end it today? Like, what if I just ended it and I didn't have to feel like this anymore? It doesn't seem like this is going away. I'm not able to fix anything. I felt like I was a waste of space. I truly believed that I was, honestly. And I didn't know how to fix any of that. I mean, I would drink and go to therapy. Like, which is very screwed up. And on the way to his house, I like passed a massive utility pole. And immediately I was like, I'm going to hit that pole. So I did a U-turn and I went like a little bit ways down the road and I stepped on my gas. If I really thought about it, I would have taken my seatbelt off, which is pretty interesting. Kept my seatbelt on, but not that that's funny. Sorry, Mom. I stepped on my gas as hard as I could and probably like a mile away and just went absolutely flying. I remember, I was conscious for the whole accident, which is insane. I like went over like a ditch into someone's yard through a fence. Then I hit a mailbox and then I slammed into a massive utility pole going probably like 80 or 90 miles per hour. And my first thought was, holy shit, I'm alive. And when I tell you there were pills in one of my bottles that were shattered, but somehow my phone was in my hand, like fine. Like my car was absolutely totaled. And then I noticed, oh, like shit, I can't breathe at all. And then my car is smoking, and then I like try to get out. Like I think I'm like a little out of it at this point. I tried to get out. I was crushed in, and then I'm like starting to realize, okay, wait, everything hurts really bad right now, and I can't breathe. I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna call 911. I'm just gonna like have a slow death here. I called them, and they were.
So that at that time it was more like, okay, maybe I don't want to die right now, like at least not slowly.
I was like immediately thankful, which is interesting. Because especially like, I mean, driving your car into a pole like that and it doesn't work, it's like, well, fuck. I guess I immediately was like, all right, there's a reason that I didn't die just then. I didn't really understand what condition I was in. I think like the adrenaline, when I called 911, she couldn't really understand me because both my lungs had collapsed. And at this point, I didn't really know what else was wrong with me because I looked fine. But I knew there was a lot of stuff that was very wrong. And thank God I didn't hit my head. She told me that I had to get out of the car, and I told her I couldn't. So what I had to do was like climb over the passenger seat and like, I was realizing that everything hurt. And like I fell out of my car and like I remember digging my nails into the dirt, into someone's yard, and getting as far away from my car as I could because it was smoking. And then just laying on my back and looking at the stars, realizing I can't talk to this woman. She has no idea where I am. So I just hear her on the other line. I'm just laying and looking up at the stars, thinking, just stay alive until whoever gets here, until someone finds you. Because like I had no air in my lungs and it was so painful to even try to talk. Thank God this woman came out of her house because I crashed in her yard. And I remember her going, and it's like 3 a.m. I remember her going, what happened? And I'm like, and I just handed her my phone and she told them where I was. And then it was like, oh, I could relax. Like people are coming to save me. And then I'm like, okay, something is so wrong. So both my lungs collapsed. I had to get a chest tube, which they just shove a chest tube in you apparently without numbing you or anything. And they were so panicked because my oxygen levels were so low that they accidentally stabbed it into my boob first. So I have 2 scars. And then I remember being like, that's my boob. And then they shoved it into my ribs, into my lungs. I broke my sternum. I broke my lower spine. I had like severe trauma on my hips, so I couldn't even like move my toes really. Damn. But the scariest part is that I broke my C4, my upper spine, and this is where the miracle comes in because my spine was only a centimeter from severing my spinal cord. And the neurologist said it doesn't logically make any sense at all that I survived. Because, I mean, especially if it had, and I crawled out of my car. I literally
Yeah, that's
fell out of my
crazy.
car, crawled away. If it touched the area of my spinal cord that it was at, and just generally like what happened up in my spine area, my body should have been shutting down like instantly. I had surgery on my upper spine. I have like a metal disc in it, and this is in April, the end of April.
This year?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I was in the trauma unit for a couple weeks, and then I had surgery. And then they were like, how is she walking?
That's
Like,
crazy.
they didn't even put me in like outpatient physical therapy or anything, and they were just like, after my surgery, they were calling me Lucky Cosgriff instead of Layla Cosgriff.
Did you catch a charge too?
No. They were so, I mean, like, I was already in the ambulance, gone before the cops even got there. And the first thing I said to them in my, like, with whatever air I had was, I did it on purpose. Like, I tried to kill myself. So while I was in the trauma unit, I also had a full-time babysitter because they couldn't put me in the psych unit. But, yeah, I also will never forget when they called my parents. They didn't tell them. They just told them that I was okay. They didn't tell them exactly what happened. They said I was in an accident, but I'm stable. And when they finally like gave me drugs, I think I went like 5 hours without them, and I was in so much pain. When they finally put me on something and I was comfortable enough, I remember having some kind of conversation with my mom. I mean, I'm laying on my back with a neck brace, can't really move, and I just remember saying to her like, no, you know I did it on purpose, right? And then I remember, like all the blood leaving my mom's face, and her like running to the hallway, like collapsing with the nurses, like completely breaking down. I guess they hadn't told her that, and that's how she found out. And I was also like on a lot of painkillers. I was like, I did it on purpose, like, dude, like, and she was just like.
That's crazy. That's like,
yeah.
It is like a miracle. Like if you took your seatbelt off, you.
I would have went through the windshield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ejected.
It was, yeah.
You got some kind of purpose here.
Well,
figure that out,
believe it
yeah.
or not, I went out and I continued to party after that.
Yeah.
But
Checks out. Yeah.
I definitely wore myself out, and I don't ever want to feel like that again. So I'm glad I'm here.
So
Yes.
glad you're here.
I got a quick question for you, Salma. You're 20, right?
Yeah.
Getting sober, getting clean at a young age like that, it's really difficult. It's hard. I've been trying to get sober for like 14 years, you know. I think I went to treatment for the first time when I was 17, and then since then it's been in and out of treatment centers. And it's not easy, like, you know, not even being 21 and getting clean. Like, what is it right now that's keeping you here or keeping you in the program and, like, wanting this?
Because I want to be a mom to my kid. And I want, like, I've already did all of these things. Like, yeah, I'm going to be turning 21, but there's no difference in it because I've already done all of that. And it's gotten to the point where I just don't want to do that anymore. Like, it's just not fun because I did it, like, throughout my whole high school. And me having a kid kind of just changed everything. So I want to be a good mom to him. And me being here is the only, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm glad that I'm here because I'm growing and it's teaching me a lot. And I know it's going to change me into a better person than I was when I first walked in here. And that's what I want, if that makes sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense. That's for sure. That's good.
Uh-oh.
You guys have anything else you guys want to?
Damn, I feel like those are a lot of heavy topics.
It was.
I feel like, I don't know. I don't think I have anything else to talk about. Do you, Selma?
No.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, it looks like we're done with the podcast today. Thanks
Appreciate
for
you guys.
listening.
Bye.
Y'all